Okay, welcome back after lunch. I guess it was a very heavy lunch. So, and it's a very boring topic, so don't get sleepy. Okay, we'll keep it a little bit interactive. So, everybody has heard of this term, right? UN Sustainable Development Goals. What are these? Why are these? What does it address? Anything that you know. They're called as the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we are aiming it till 2030, right? Okay. Apart from addressing the issues that we are going to address in this entire presentation, the UN, what it has done is that it has estimated what will happen in all of these issues by the year 2030. And it has taken all issues into consideration, at least, or in certain issues, 3-4 other issues are linked, right? As we move forward, let's directly go to the goals. Okay. The first goal is no poverty, right? Now, poverty is an issue that is connected to our population growth, right? The more the population, less our employment opportunities, and hence more is the poverty. Okay. By the year 2030, UN has estimated that 575 million people will be under the poverty line, right? So that is a very alarming figure. That is why the 10% of the world's population live in extreme poverty. Now there are two types of poverty. One is extreme, another is just below the poverty line that we consider. Now people who are under extreme poverty, they are not entitled to any government schemes. These are the homeless people, or the people who travel from one place to another, migratory people. The people who are under the poverty line, only they are entitled to all these government policies or whatever. Let's say we make a policy tomorrow. Only these people will be little bit, you can say that they will be affected by this entire policies. 80% of people living on less than, let's say, 200-300 rupees. It is their income. But that is also the statement of the UN in US. You just take the same scenario to Africa and you'll get a different thing. So, these goals are actually addressing the issue, but the solutions are not given because the solutions cannot be given. Just like every lock has a different key. Here also, to address poverty in America, you'll need a different key. To address poverty in India, you'll need a different key. And in the sub-Saharan countries, you'll need a different key. So there is no proper plan to address these particular issues. The second goal will actually be very specific to goal number 11, that is in our module. I'm just going through all the goals. Is zero hunger. Again, 600 million people are in the hungry index, or the hunger index that we say, by 2030, which is estimated by the UN again. More than 1 in 8 adults is obese. Now that's a different thing, being obese and being hungry, right? That means that there is another goal which is again for inequality. That means the people who are getting the resources is only 10%. And people who are not getting the resources are 90%. So there is an inequality in the division of resources or economy. Next is good health and well-being. We have seen that there is a surge in malaria cases nowadays. Have you seen that? It's in the newspapers, in Africa, in many places. There are 5 different types of malaria that are caused by the same parasite. Does anybody know the name of the parasite? Huh? It's the vector, it's the mosquito, but the parasite is, anybody? Everybody has studied in your schools. Plasmodium, falciparum, vivax, knowlesi, right? Okay. So, we have seen that there is a surge in the malaria cases, and the deaths during childbirth and pregnancy is the highest. Why? Because there is no proper care being given. Still now we have house births in many rural areas, in many countries. Good health conditions are entitled to only the rich in the African countries. You take the example of Sudan or Chad, these countries, only the rich people get the facilities of good health care. Otherwise, there is no health care. Let's go down to states like Jharkhand or Bihar, where I have personally seen the healthcare system is very weak. Now, slowly it's being developed. Now, many model hospitals are coming up. The schemes are there, but again, implementation, we have to work on that. Quality education, again, there is a very famous scheme called the midday meal. You've all heard of it, right? There are certain schools. Okay, why was the midday meal scheme introduced? To ensure that people, at least they send the kids to the school, to at least they'll get the food and they'll study. But there are schools where the school is shut from the morning. The school opens at 12. They serve the meals to the students. They only bring the plates and the glass from house, no books in their bag. They come, eat, go. The school is again closed. The policy is right, but again implementation is zero, right? That's why, and maximum times, let's say in Meghalaya, you will see that there are so many primary schools. When there are kids, they go to the school, but how many of them turn out in the secondary education? Secondary education is again very less in all the states. There are only states like you say Delhi or maybe Karnataka or maybe Kerala. In these places, we see that many tribal states in our Northeast India, the education percentage is very high. But how do we calculate that? A student going to a primary school, can we say that he is educated when he is 30 years? No, right? That is the problem, that the transformation of these students from primary to secondary is not happening. The next goal is gender equality. Well, we do not have this issue in our part of the country, fortunately. But yes, people in other states are obviously facing it till now. Child marriages are still happening, right? Clean water and sanitation, that will cover in goal number 11 when we talk about sustainable cities. Affordable and clean energy. Now we all talk about solar energy, which is a much more cleaner form of energy, right? But is it affordable? In many of the presentations, we have seen that we should use clean energy, right? But you have to make that energy affordable so that everybody can use it. You have to make that first affordable. Second, the ease of buying the things, the availability of these things in the market, in the rural areas. Government gives you solar panels, the solar panels for street lights and everything, but for houses, we still are lacking in that. We'll just skip these are not okay. Now we come to sustainable cities and communities, which is the main topic of discussion for today. What do you mean by a sustainable city? There are two types of cities, and if we talk about India, one are planned cities, another is an unplanned city. Can you name a planned city in India? Chandigarh. Chandigarh is the best example of a planned city because they had planned it before people, maximum of the people, they settled. Unplanned city is Shillong, is Guwahati, where we haven't planned anything. A sustainable city is one where we can address the issues of when more people come into the city, what will happen? When the traffic increases, what can we do? When more people will come, obviously we'll need resources like water. What can we do about that? So a sustainable city is something which is accessible for all sections of the society. Be it me, I'm a young person, my father is a 85-year-old gentleman, he should also be, for him also all the resources should be accessible. For a person who is disabled, he should also access every part of the city. So it should be disabled friendly as well, right? So a sustainable city is a city which is accessible to all sections of the society. If you're talking about economic sections or if you're talking about health sections. So it should be accessible to everybody. What is a sustainable city? It is one designed to address social, environmental and economic impact through urban planning and city management. Sometimes when we plan a city, we do it beforehand, but in an unplanned city, there the challenges come, and your next activity is actually related to that. Regulations and fine can also achieve change. Now what we have seen, one thing in all of your presentations, it's good, it's very good, that what we are talking about is compliances, rules, regulations and laws, but we are not talking about innovations. Let's say that you have a problem in your particular community. I come from a university and I have calculated one thing. We have around 4,000 students in my university, and now all the courses are semester wise. So the paper that is wasted in exams in the form of assignments, projects, this and that, it comes up to be 10 lakh sheets of paper. And what happens to these 10 lakh sheets of paper? We burn it. Now burning increases the carbon emissions there. Burning is also bad to the soil. We are also creating soil pollution. So according to you, what can you do? We'll say that, okay, we can make exams electronic, right? We can use Google Forms, or the assignments can be given in the form of PDFs or something, right? Which is not feasible sometimes, because physical presence of students is very much necessary for formal education. What we have devised the solution is that we are transforming or recycling that same paper into handmade paper, sheet paper, and we are selling it inside the university to various departments for projects and this. So the same paper which was being burned before is now being reused, and also the people, the students who are doing it are also making a little bit of income out of that. When a guest comes to a university, we give them a token of this paper and we ask them to adopt the same in their university as well. This is how a sustainable, this is how you address any issue in your community. Yes, fines, regulations, compliances can be made, can be amended, but we on our part as a stakeholder, we have to be a little bit innovative. And yes, if you are innovative, you can submit that to the government to form it into a law, right? In a sustainable city, these are a few things that UN has described. The first is public transportation. Many of us have already said about it, right? Carpooling, use of public transport. But you have to make public transport either affordable for people. In Japan, if you see, all the people, they use public transportation rather than private vehicles, because it is affordable, it is fast and it is accessible to everybody. So till the time we do not make public transport affordable and accessible to people, we cannot force them to use it, because convenience is also a matter that we have become a little bit convenient nowadays. Second is water conservation. Obviously, rainwater harvesting is a very important thing which has so much potential in Meghalaya, but I don't know if they are doing it on a large scale basis. Let's say there is a small institution, a school or a university is there, or an office is there. Let's say the forest department is there, biodiversity board is there. In all the offices, we can use this so that the need of water can be at least little bit, you can take it from this water conservation or rainwater harvesting as well. Accessible public resources, as I have always already said, that public resources should all be accessible to everybody, which also comes with this one. walkable and bikeable neighborhoods and disabled friendly public spaces. Why does a disabled person needs the help of another person to take him around? It should be accessible for everybody. Like today, is there a ramp anywhere in this particular center, or all stairs? Now, do you get the problem? If a person who's not able to walk comes for this particular training, he'll need two people to carry him. So we have to make that particular thing accessible to all sections of the society. I think something very fun is going down somewhere. Public green spaces, yes, in certain cities, we are right now doing it in Guwahati. There is a small hilltop, if you have been to the 6 Mile area. It was barren before, now they are planting it, and small forest island type of a concept they have put in place. And I think it will be done by around next 5 to 10 years. But at least these public green spaces should be more encouraged. In Shillong, yes, you already have. So the proper maintenance of that is very much necessary. Waste management. Waste management ke liye we know everything. How to segregate the waste, what is e-waste, what is that waste, but we do not do it. We just clean our area, we throw it in the road and then say the government is not doing anything, right? So that is the problem. Waste management, till the time you do not achieve a good waste management system in your city, you will not be able to make it a sustainable city. Climate action we'll be discussing tomorrow, I guess. The whole day we have for climate action. Next is life below water. We know that the oceans are the greatest sink of carbon in the world. First are oceans, and second, I guess it was in your pre-assessment module, I just told you the answer to it. Okay. So oceans should be protected, and there is a patch of garbage, plastic garbage, which is just floating around in the Atlantic, which is of 2.5 million tons. You can just Google it, you'll see. It is just trapped in one place in the Atlantic and it is floating around. The tortoise or the turtles, they eat the, what do we call it? The jellyfish. And sometimes they take the plastic packets that are floating around, and as they resemble the jellyfish. So sometimes they eat the plastic in place of the jellyfish. So it is also creating problems to the life underwater, the pollution that we are creating. We are not going and throwing our garbage into the ocean, but somewhere down the line it is going back to the ocean. Life on land we have already discussed. We have just about the end of the last session. I was saying that Meghalaya is getting so much economy from tourism. But the maximum tourism is completely based on what? Cherrapunji, Mausinram, route bridges, right? But there are the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries are not accessible for tourists. Like the Kaziranga and Manas or the Dibru-Saikhowa are, or the Corbett is. What is the reason? Is there not enough biodiversity here? I don't think so. But you have to make the wildlife tourism much more developed so that a little bit of pressure or the stress that comes from tourism to the environment can be divided. So that Shillong receives a less tourist and maybe Balpakram or Nokrek receive some of that stress that side also, so that the stress can be at least minimized or channelized in some sense. And finally, the last goal or most important goal is that everybody has to partner in this thing. Let it be poverty, let it be hunger, let it be education, let it be sanitation, let it be sustainable cities or communities. All the stakeholders must come together to finally formulate a policy for addressing each and every issue. Okay? We have a few questions for you now. I'll put out 4 questions. You have to be divided into 4 groups again. I'll give you 4 questions and we need your innovative answers to that question. Not just government policies and compliances. What you can devise, let's say plastic pollution, there is a question. So you devise something to address this issue. Think that you are the boss and whatever you say will be accepted. So the first question, we have to divide. She's alone. If anybody can join her there from you. From this group, you can join one. 4 questions are there. No?
So 2 each.
So if anybody can join this group. So the first question, if you see, we'll give you 10 minutes for each question. We all talk about putting a ban on single-use plastics, but what will happen to the plastic that is already there in the market? आज से बंद कर दिया plastic in the markets. But there's already plastic circulated in our entire ecosystem. How do we collect that from the urban and the rural areas? You have to brainstorm 2 or 3 ideas about it. You have 10 minutes to frame the answer up to this. And there are 4 questions, 4 groups. I can ask the answer to, I'll ask to only one group, but it is up to me to which group to ask for which group. So you have to devise all the 4 answers. No, they can write in the notebook only. It's just solutions. Obviously, for urban and rural areas, the ideas will be different. Any doubts you can ask?
So I think one of one of the ways we can combat this issue of ban on single-use plastics and what we do afterwards is I think conversion of plastics into reusable energy, because we know that there's a process called plasma something. There is one process which converts plastics into hydrogen, methane and ethylene. So this can be used for diesel, for running engines. And then another way could be in the urban area. We could try converting these plastics into kind of souvenirs or decorations, things like that. And in rural areas, it can be for construction of walls. We have seen that in in other places, that they have constructed walls, they have constructed houses with plastics, so they can construct chairs and then so many things that they can use in their daily life. So yeah, those are the 3 ways that we think we can convert.
The question was, what you said was on recycling, and the question was on possible ways of collection of the plastics. Anybody wants to add something, any innovative ideas?
We already have in Shillong, we have a mechanism that because from the hotels and households, these plastics are coming out, hotels and from the habitation. So already we have a green bag for biodegradable and blue bag for non-biodegradable. Already the mechanism is for most separation. Yes. So that collection point itself, it is segregated. And biodegradable will go to agriculture and Non-bag already segregated. Then we have volunteers, they will collect. Then two types of trucks are there. That is for green and non-green. Already is taken to dumping site, and the dumping site they sell, and the dumping site, those who are working there are earning in lakhs. Already this mechanism is there. And one more we can add is that we can create like this plastic. We also have our community cleaning drives. So community collect and do the dumping. That is the solution we have. And it's already working. That's why Shillong many places are very clean.
Yes.
So and apart from that, through any scheme you can create volunteers regularly. Regularly they will collect from each community wise volunteers. They will collect the plastic and they will recycle or they will sell because money is there. And one more thing, in many parts of India we have seen after collecting plastic, they have used it as roads. They have made roads.
Yes.
So that is also, like she said, methane, that is very expensive process. Each community level that cannot be done, so much money. So that roads are melting and mixing with coal tar, that roads can be in each community, each area, that lane by lane with plastic roads, that is also long lasting. So these are the inexpensive solutions we have
Yes.
figured out.
One innovative idea that I got was that the plastic that is already circulating can be used as currency. There is a school which takes plastic as currency, as fees in terms of education. It's near Guwahati. So yes, so it's a very innovative technique. Or there can be certain vending machines where you come and put in plastic and you get the money out. It is practiced in many countries in Southeast Asia. So these are a few innovative techniques how you can collect the plastic pack.
In our locality, one old lady used to come and collect the single-use plastic. In turn, that household who collects those used plastics, maybe for 1 kg, they'll get
money.
Yeah, money in return. Maybe 20 rupees per kg.
Yeah.
So these are a few innovative techniques that can make a community sustainable. Second question, anybody would like to volunteer? Please, ma'am. Yeah, sure.
Okay, regarding this case too, I think the first thing is ban crackers, which the government is already doing that. But yes, we have to respect that is also a kind of tradition, we can say, that we have been following from many years. So I guess here we have to sensitize the public regarding the impact of the crackers. We have to show them that if you do this, this will be the outcome of that. And reduce the use of crackers. Instead of bursting 10 crackers, we can do so by bursting just 2-3 crackers, that if we can inculcate in our minds, that we can use. And one thing that I have a 6-year-old daughter. Recently there was Diwali celebration, so just before Diwali, her teacher was talking something about crackers. And she told them that we should not, she did not say don't burn crackers, but she said that we should not burn too many crackers because the animals will get scared, and our environment, we will pollute our environment, we will get sick. So every year she used to ask her father that, okay, buy crackers, the one that we used to, she can hold in her hands. And that day her dad told her, your cousin already, your auntie bought for you two packets of crackers, so come, we'll go and take. She said, no papa, we will not do that, we will not burn crackers this year. And she called her auntie and scolded her. Why did you burn crackers? Your cat will get scared, your dog will get scared, and you will pollute the environment. And she has a small cousin, and she will get sick. I think we need to incorporate that
These
kind of
values, yes.
in our
Definitely.
just that.
Okay, thank you. One more small thing I'd like to just show you here is that the answer to this question is already in the question. You have two big sources. One is a one-time source, one is a full-time source. So when the one-time source comes, you shut down the full-time source. Stop construction activities at least for 3 days. That can be done so that the AQI remains constant. Third question, anybody would like to volunteer from these two groups? Who are left? These two groups. Your group? Anything is important.
Maybe creation of fencing or boundary regarding the encroachment on the banks. Yes. For the first one, it's like creating awareness environmental aspects, then effective filters, maybe like a regular inspection also from the department concerned, then proper drainage or sewage system be constructed, and for the third one, it's regarding the encroachment, maybe fencing or boundary to be created. But the last one, it didn't.
For sand mining, anybody? Yes.
And another one is on the average administration for another college.
You can use this particular river as a resource. If you start using it as a resource from where you generate a little bit of livelihood or economy, let's say if it passes right through your city, you can use it for transport, you can use it for tourism. If you do that, then obviously people will start respecting the resource. That's a small initiative that can be done. Last, your group is left, so we'll expect answers from you.
Groundwater level.
Groundwater levels.
Last session, whatever we have told.
Any innovative ideas that you have?
Recycling.
This
Rainwater harvesting.
rainwater harvesting, this all, and recycling of domestic water. Like we have seen in so many areas and big hotels, 5-star hotel, what they are doing is that water coming out, they recycle that water.
Yes.
And that water, recycled water is going to agriculture. In many places I have seen. In Guwahati, Assam also, Delhi.
Yes,
I have seen.
everybody's. It's a regulation nowadays.
Yes.
Also, if you have a natural water source, that can be used, and the water recycle can be again sent back to the water source, and that can be recycled every time. Shillong has this opportunity to do this because you have certain natural reservoirs nearby, but for certain cities it is difficult who are in the dry regions. We'll break for tea now, but we have one last activity for today. It's a little bit interesting activity called Build Your Own City. So all the questions that we have just now discussed will be incorporated here. So, did you? If you see here in this map, it was actually designed for a different activity, but we are using it for here. The red boundary is the city limits, right? So you have to build it within these city limits. And the green patch that you see in between is a sacred grove, or you can call it anything, but it has to be
that
conserved
green
at
polygon,
any
yeah,
cost.
Yeah, this one, correct.
Inside a city. Yes, it is in the heart of the city, and one side is just towards outside the city limits, but it is the 90% of it will be inside the city. So you have to devise certain ideas, and in this city, just note it down. I'll tell you what things you have to put in a sustainable way. First is housing. Second is power. Third is water management. Fourth, education institutes. Am I going too fast? Medical facilities. industries, both small scale, large scale, transport, drainage, waste management, and green patches. For drainage in hilly areas, consider this to be inside a hill or a hilly terrain. So the drainage in hilly areas is supposed to be underground drainage, so keep that in mind for flood management. So you have to build it in such a way that all these factors or sectors are connected. Let's say the housing is here and the medical facilities in the city limits, it makes no sense. So everything has to be sustainable so that you can live in your own city.
Did anyone miss any of these? Like 10 aspects? We've got everyone. Okay.
We'll leave you with this. After tea, you come back, build your own city, and then we'll see whether we can live it in it or not.
So we have to demarcate here in the map itself.
Yes, you demarcate just the sectors in the map itself, and then you can write down in the chart paper how is this related or how is this going to be sustainable.
We are playing a small video. You might get some ideas from here. So you can keep working if you want. And
Eight years left to end poverty and hunger, to halve global emissions. It didn't start out as planned. We're not moving in the right direction. Years of progress lost in the pandemic. Escalating conflicts, climate breakdown. So where are we now? For decades, we successfully fought poverty. Now it's on the rise again. 1 out of 10 suffer from hunger. More people than ever forced out of their homes. Climate disasters increasing. Droughts alone estimated to displace 700 million people by 2050. This year, CO2 emissions hit a new record. At this rate, annual emissions will be 14% higher in 2030. Meanwhile, fossil energy receives $700 billion in subsidies from governments. Safe water and sanitation not made accessible fast enough. Progress must quadruple to cover all people by 2030. Women are held back at all levels. At this pace, by 2030, 825 million children won't have secondary level education. Human rights, health, and equality all hurt in the wake of war and disaster. Disrupted economies, food and energy crisis, and galloping costs of living damage global solidarity. Everything interconnected. Everyone intertwined.
break हो गया बेसी टाइम नहीं हमारे एगुला आइडिया पर आरंभ ओवर बसते भाबा ना एटु चलाई পেলে ক'ব লাগিব
Business as usual won't cut it. Even though we made progress before, going back to pre-pandemic ways is not enough. We need a new paradigm built on the pillars of our 17 goals. Rethink conventions, flip the orthodoxies. Governments, organizations, corporations, citizens of the world, snap out of it. It's time for bold climate action. To act for women and girls, for social justice and inclusion. Scale up the transition to renewable energy. Create 85 million green jobs. Phase out fossil fuel subsidies and tax carbon. $2.8 trillion. Keep your promises. Support developing nations. Write off debts. Free up $1 trillion for climate resilience, people, and communities. $500 billion per effort to achieve universal energy access by 2030. Commit to a circular economy now. New resilient food systems that can cut waste by 17%. Strengthen domestic financial institutions. Make insurance and banking accessible to everyone. Scale up the digital transformation.
Whose map is this one? It's yours, right? Who will come and explain? Last activity of the day, I guess both of you should come.
This one, first is, this transport. First, we will create the transport like perpendicular roads transport because transport is the main means how the city will function. So transport will be like perpendicular to each other. It will crisscross the city, and the drainage will be below the roads so that extra space is not created, and it will be below the roads. And for this waste management, this below the roads, and in some centers, mainly in the end or in some sub centers, this drainage waste management centers will be there where sewage will be segregated and filtered and put into reuse. And medical facilities will be medical facilities will be like 4 centers should be there, like north, south, east, west medical facilities, so that accessible from all areas. And near the green patches, we can plan an like a traditional Ayurveda center, that we have been Ayurveda center near the green patch and sacred grove. Waste management, then drainage we have done. Industries will be in the border areas wherever, depending on the need. And factories will have their own waste management plan. And near the river, we'll go for hydro power plant for power management. However, in the river it will, and yes, and depending the requirement of the city, the housing will be all the housing will be near the roads.
The roads will cut each other at right angles.
Yes, housing will be all adjacent to the road, so the transport will be easy. No extra, and water will be supplied to all the housing from that river source. So this
We've kept one environmental learning center nearby the
Yes.
sacred grove.
all we've covered. All covered.
Next one.
Okay, this is what our city that we had planned. We had planned the first one, the industries will be in the left, since it's, yeah, the small scale and the large industries will be there.
We don't want to mix with anything there. It will be just the industrial area. Then next to the sacred grove, we have the green patch. We don't want to disturb again the sacred grove. So on top of that, we have the waste management, where why we put the waste management, because it is nearer to the industry and also nearer to the institutions and housing site. So we had put it in the middle. Then there number 3, we are having a check dam for water management, and which will be used also for drinking, for supplying to all the those housing and the education and the medical facilities. Then we have below, we have the education in half, and the medical facilities. We put education near the river because we don't want waste from the medical facilities to seep into the river. So, and from there, the red one is the drainage system where we have, and over here, we have that small one. We have the waste management center, where we will be recycling the water that comes out from all those. And yeah, number 2, we had put the powerhouse down near the river in case we want to go for hydro. Yeah.
I just want to point out there are 2 problems here. One is that you have a sacred grove here.
Yes.
And you have created a buffer for the sacred grove by the green patches.
Yes.
Very good idea. But the waste management is very close to it.
The green patch is there.
Yes. The green patch is also a ecologically important area. So it should not be bordering the dump yard or something. Okay. Another problem what I saw is that if a person gets injured here, right? So medical facilities should be accessible for everybody, even this part. But one idea that I'll take from here is the buffer zone that you have created around the green patch.
Okay. But if we put the medical facilities near the water, yeah, there is chance that there will be.
All medical facilities have a waste management system, and even in Guwahati or Shillong also, they dump their medical waste outside the city. This is a rule. So, but this idea is very good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, next
one. Good afternoon, everyone. We had planned our city in a very simple way. So let's see how is it. First of all, it's housing. We have kept somewhere in that side because we feel that since the educational institution is just near, so I thought maybe it'll be easy for the transportation of the students or the college. And next, we've kept power to the top so that that will not affect either housing or the medical facilities, any of these other parts. Then next is transport. Transport we've kept across or along the river so that it'll be easier even for the people staying on the right side or the industries which require any transport because it's along across the river. Then we have the medical facilities on the top. We thought we kept it there because we thought it's near the industries, so if any problem, it'll be easy for transport. The waste management, it's above this left side. That will be, far away from the industries or from the housing and the education institution. And the industries, so that this, whatever the pollution that will be absorbed by the forest that is being conserved under the sacred groves. And last but not least, we have the drainage. That is, since it's underground, so I think that will not affect the rest of it.
Lastly, maybe my friend here has forgotten to mention
the green patches.
Green patches we've created there.
in between housing and
Educational
educational
institution.
institute. So it will be kind of a relaxing place or a
Refreshing.
place.
Very simple way.
What is between the industries and the sacred group?
No, actually we made a mistake.
Yeah, we should have kept it somewhere there.
We've marked the industries very near to the secret.
Yeah,
so
that's
like
why.
maybe somewhere far.
But the location of green patches is good because already we have a sacred grove in this part.
Yes, in the other side.
So for minimizing the impact here, we can
Yes.
put the green
The green
patches, which can be utilized by people of the city also.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Last, and I think that's a very different kind of a city that you'll be seeing now.
So we're not very good at drawing, so we have just written it roughly, and we tried only on this side because it's trial basis. If it's successful, then we'll try on the other side. If not, if there are room for improvements, then we'll divert. Yeah. So basically here around the sacred grove, we made some green patches so that it becomes like a transition like area for the species and the area as well. And we kept green patches this side as well so that these species, like the animals from here, can go to the water source and drink and move around also. So and then around the green patches there's power. We have kept power nearby, and then around after this we have kept houses. And in between the houses we have kept medical and educational hub and drainage in every hub, underground drainage. And we have kept the industries quite far from the housing and from the settlements and the commercial areas. And oh yes, so this drainage will be going. I think ultimately it will go near the water body. So there's a water waste management as well. So before reaching to the water body, it will be treated in the waste management, and then yeah. So basically that's our trial.
Your inputs on this?
I didn't get transport. Is there
Transport. Where is it?
like any road or?
Oh yeah. This one, the dotted lines are like the transport.
Oh,
Quite in the
Even
middle of
distributed.
okay.
connecting the housing areas, the industries,
I can-
everywhere. It will be connected. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good you have put medical and education nearby because it's very much interconnected, but space constraint is so much in India, and you have kept space. I don't believe don't sell the other land to corporates. Okay, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
We can take some takeaways from all the cities actually. From the first, your transport and housing facilities were good. It was just like a very planned city where transport and housing was in a grid fashion, just like any proper planned city. For the second one, we would take the buffer zone that was created around the sacred groves. For the third, again, the green patches being kept near the housing because green patches means parks, botanical gardens, which can be used as a source of recreation also for the people who are residing. And for the fourth, it was a little bit hard to find, but medical and education being together, I guess that was good. So we'll wrap it up for today. Thank you again for your active participation. We're going to end tomorrow with climate change as the topic for tomorrow's discussion. So I guess we'll see you all at 10:30 tomorrow.
Round
Thank
of
you.
applause for everyone.